So now we've compressed, EQ'd and added effects to our vocals. In this module, we're going to discuss the balancing, panning and the way the vocals will sit in the mix. Okay, in this module we're going to balance and mix our vocals. They've got all the compressors and reverbs, delays, all the processing's on there now. We just need to get a nice balance in the mix. So just before I start, I'm going to show you what I have got on the whole fader. As you saw in the previous tutorial, I'd grouped all Luke's vocals together. I can put individual effects on like here if I wanted to, but generally speaking, I always group all the vocals together and then do these tweaks afterwards. So let's see what we've got on the whole fader, which incorporates all these vocals. So I've got the slate rack on and I'm coming through a virtual channel. And as I said in the previous module, that gives you that analog desk feel. I've set it to the Brit N, which I believe is modelling a Neve desk, and I've driven it up to 16 dB. And that'll basically give you that colour of the Neve desk and a nice analog feel on the vocals. And on the EQ side of things, I've got the Neve setting. I boosted it by 1.6K in the mid and 3.43 on the high mids and some top, and I took some low shelf off. And I'm using the custom series lift, which is really cool. It just adds a sheen to the vocal in the slate range. And on the compression, I'm using a vintage compressor emulated FG116. So let's have a quick listen to that with and without before we start balancing. This is without.
This is a house that house built. This is a house that house built.
And on.
This is a house that house built. This is a house that house built.
As you can see, massive difference. So that's all good. And on the reverb side of things, I'm using the RC48, which is part of my Native Instruments plugin range. I've called it the Chris Lord setting. It's basically a setting that he uses, which is incorporating the pre-delay of about 162 milliseconds, which I touched on when we were setting up the reverbs. And I've balanced the bass, mid and high cut of the reverb accordingly and the size. So let's have a quick look at that on and off.
This is a house that house built. This is a house that house built.
And dry.
This is a house that house built.
So a nice echoey sort of reverb. And on the delay side of things, just before we start balancing, I've set up the replica with high quality. I've just cut in some of the top. I'll just cut some of the top EQ and low EQ of the actual delay. I've got it on a dotted 1/8 and a bit of feedback, and then I've filtered the delay down as well. So let's have a listen to that on.
This is a house that house built. This is a house that house built. This is a house that house built.
So you can see it just rolls off a little bit of delay after Luke finishes his phrase, which I really like. So let's have a quick listen to all that in the mix before we start balancing up. So this is just a really rough balance, and then we'll show you how I go about from scratch.
This is a house that house built. This is a house that house built. This is a house that house built. This is a house that house built.
Cool. Like I say, you know, EQ wise, compression wise, you can use anything in Ableton, Logic, you know, they're plugins are good. I just use these because I just think they're a little bit better. They're based on some of the best mixers, EQs, compressors in the world. So hence that's why I use them. So I'm going to mute all the vocal tracks except for Luke's lead. And let's have a listen to that with our track. And pan wise, I'm going to have these in the middle.
This is a house that house built.
And get a level on this.
This is a house that house built. This is a house that house built. This is a house that house built.
That's not too bad. And next I'm going to bring in the double track, which will thicken that up.
This is a house that has been. This is a house that has been. This is a house that has been. And this is a house that has built.
So you can see the thickening.
This is a house that has built.
And any timing discrepancies, what I can do, and you can do this in Pro Tools, you do it in Ableton, I can choose the flex time. It's on polyphonic at the moment, so if I just zoom in on that, I can stretch various vocals just to sit them in with each other. As it stands, I don't really need to do that on this track because it sounds pretty tight to me. So that sounds good, and of course I've got them all coming through one fader, so once I mix everything, I can then just bring the whole mix of my vocals up and down, which I'm going to do. So let's have a listen to the high harmonies in isolation. And what I'm going to do with these is I'll probably pan one slightly left and one slightly right.
This is a house that has built. This is a house that has built. This is a house that has built.
So yeah, I've just panned that slightly left and right. I'd already give it a little bit of pan by looks of things, but yeah, that's what I would do. So you're going to have your lead sat in the middle, and the surrounding pans are just going to be to the left and right pan wise. So it's going to make the vocal feel really wide, really big, but the focus, which is the actual lead lines, they're going to be coming straight through the middle. We'll just get a mix on those.
This is a house that has been. This is a house that has been. This is a house that has been.
So it's all personal taste, obviously. I quite like the fact that his harmonies are quite high.
This is a house that has been. This is a house that has been.
That sounds really nice. Let's have a listen in isolation.
This is a house that has built. This is a house that has built.
That's sounding really nice. So the next is the low vocals. And I got Luke to record these. They're almost Barry White, if anybody's old enough to remember the great Barry White. It's like a low octave of the lead. And I got Luke to stand up really close to the mic. And he's almost talking them because they're at the real bottom of his range. So let's have a listen to these in isolation. I've panned them left again, and I've panned them right. So just going back to the high harmonies. High harmonies are going to be wider, and then you've got these just coming in a fraction, and then obviously the lead line, they'll be straight. So we'll just have a quick listen to these two, and we'll just select the both tracks.
This is a house that has built.
So as you can see, they're really, really low. But what they will do is when you sit them really down in the mix, they'll add a depth. They'll just add like a second depth to Luke's voice. So let me just listen to all those in isolation. I'm going to boost these up so you can hear them.
This is a house that has built. This is a house that has built.
So let me just mute them.
This is a house that has built.
And bring them in.
This is a house that has built.
So I won't have them that loud, but I'm just going to play around with the levels that I think I like.
This is a house that has built. This is a house that has built. This is a house that has built.
So what I've done there is I've just sat them in, so they're inaudible as such, but they're subliminal. They're there, but they're thickening. Just have a listen again how they thicken the vocal up.
This is a house that has built. This is a house that has built. This is a house that has built.
That's really, really nice. So that more or less is the balance of the vocal, and now I can adjust the whole balance of all those vocals with the one fader here. Now, just coming back to the low vocals themselves that I just played you, not all singers might be able to get down on that range. So it's the type of track you're doing, type of singer you're working with. It's worth a try. You know, I mean, a versatile singer might have Luke's got quite a good falsetto, and he's got quite a low range as well, which is beauty for recording vocals. It really is. We could actually construct a low harmony artificially and sit it in. So what you could do is pitch this down, one of the leads down, and even though it might sound as authentic, when it's sat down in the mix, you won't be able to tell that it's been computer generated, but it will add a thickness. So that is quite a good way of doing it if your vocalist can't get down to those low octaves. So let's have a listen to the whole vocals mixed on the one fader, and then we'll adjust this to sit it in the overall mix itself.
This is a house that has. This is a house that has been. This is a house that has been. This is a house that has been. You keep letting go, and I keep holding on.
So there, the harmonies are quite loud. So what I'll do is chop the vocals here and here and apply some volume changes. So even though I've got the basic levels throughout the track, I'm going to have to make adjustments. So I'm just going to put a little step volume here. Let's cut that down 3 dB, and the same with this. I mean, if you've got the processing power, you could actually copy the same settings and then just drop a track down just for that particular bridge bit.
You keep letting go, and I keep holding on. You keep letting go, and I keep holding on. And you keep letting go, and I keep holding on. Baby, don't you remember? This is a house that has been. This is a house that has been. This is a house that has been. This is a house that has been.
That's really nice. And let's do what I did in one of the other modules. For the chorus, I'm going to put some chorus effect on Luke's lead vocal. I'll just get there. So what I'm going to do, the easiest way is to, if I just drop and duplicate a channel there, I'm going to select his lead vocal chorus.
This is a house that has built.
And let's try one of Logic's choruses. See what we've got. Vox chorus. I think this is one I set up previously. It's quite a good setting.
House that has built. And this is a house that has built. And this is a house that has built.
So obviously this is coming through the same fader with all these effects on, but for its particular channel I just added chorus, and like I said in one of the previous modules, it's going to make Luke's lead chorus a little bit different. So he's effectively going to make the chorus group of vocals that tiny bit different. So let's have a listen to that.
You keep letting go, and I keep holding on. You keep letting go, and I keep holding on. And you keep letting go, and I keep holding on. Baby, don't you remember? This is a house that has been. This is a house that has been. This is a house that has been. This is a house that has been.
Yeah, that sounds good. It's subtle, but you know, you could put any other effects on the chorus. So bear in mind that when the song's progressing, you know, you could use a certain effects on the leads, and then on the bridges and the chorus, you could add other subtle effects onto your whole group of tracks or individual tracks, just to make each section of the song slightly different or jump out. It's a really good technique. And of course, the beauty of all this is it's all on one fader. Everything vocal wise is comped. It's got all the effects on. And, you know, if I bounce this down now with the track and, you know, I play it out and I think the vocals are a little bit buried, and I can just literally move that setting up or down. So I'm quite happy with the vocal levels. Hope that's explained a few things. That's how I would go about balancing the vocals. Obviously, as we go through the track, I would be, you know, adjusting volumes here and there. One last thing on the vocals themselves. Many DAWs have got sort of auto-tune options built in. So for instance, Logic has got flex pitch. So if I select that, I can actually select his vocals and set to perfect pitch. Now you've got to be careful with this because sometimes it will analyse the pitch nearest to a note you don't want. So I only use pitch correction when absolutely necessary. I think sometimes it can be overused with auto-tune. I know Logic and many other DAWs have got auto-tune plugins, which are great, but they can dehumanise the actual track itself. It's worth noting that volume levels on the mix are subject to things like, is it a radio mix? Is it a club mix? For radio, you might want them really up front and bright. For club mix, you may want them sat back. So that concludes the vocal processing. We've compressed, EQ'd, added delay and reverb, and we could even do some special effects. And they're now balanced, panned, and sat nicely in the mix. In the next module, let's have a look how we can chop up vocals creatively.